Hey, what's up guys, it's Nick2, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the best Devastator build in the entire game that is so beyond insane. You can just walk up to the Arbiter and kill him in just 3 Earthquakes, which feels pretty instant and is kind of ridiculous. The boss damage is so high, in fact, that on this character, which is only Apocalypse Tier 28, I was able to kill the last Arbiter on Apocalypse Tier 38 with absolutely no issues at all, and the health scales exponentially, so it's just insane that that's actually even possible. And Devastator is just ridiculously good. There's honestly not a whole lot to say about Devastator other than that it's just incredibly strong. It's very easy to set up, it doesn't really require any crazy gear or anything, and the icing on top is that the build is pretty much invincible and extremely easy to use. It's a ton of fun just smashing your Earthquake button and pretty much just watch everything get one-shotted, and today I'll be teaching you guys how you can do that pretty easily. If you enjoyed the video or you found it helpful, please make sure to drop a like as it helps me out a ton, and subscribe for videos similar to this one. Also, today I am live on Saturday the 9th of July doing a carry-a-thon, so if you want to stop by, get some free carries, help support the stream, etc., I'd appreciate it a ton. It's probably one of the last times I'll be streaming Outriders in the near future, so if you want to stop by, ask me some questions, just hang out, chit chat, etc., I'd appreciate you stopping by. Getting into the skills, this is fairly cookie cutter. We're going to be using Earthquake, of course, because this is going to be doing the bulk of our damage, and then we want a protection skill to proc the Paladin node within our skill tree. This protection skill can either be Reflect Bullets or Golem. Golem is significantly better when you're bossing because to pretty much proc Reflect Bullets, you have to activate it and then cancel it, which is a little bit annoying. Whereas with Golem, you can just activate it and then fly in, and you don't really have to worry about it. But Golem has a pretty long cooldown, and also it's going to last a pretty long time, which means that you can't have 100% uptime on the additional anomaly power from Paladin. But Reflect Bullets does allow you to do that, because if you instantly cancel it, it's not really going to go on cooldown. So ultimately for bossing, I would just swap to Golem, or if you just want, you know, infinite survivability pretty much. And then for ad clear and general play, I would swap to Reflect Bullets. Then we have a Gravity Leap here, which is not only going to be a kinetic skill to proc some extra additional anomaly power, but it's also going to pair very nicely with the mod Despair, which gives you a whole bunch of additional anomaly damage, and is one of the main reasons this build is so good. Not only that, it's going to act as a debuff, so if you're playing in a team, it's going to increase the damage that they do against the targets, which is very, very strong as well. And when it comes to the skill tree, again, things are pretty cookie cutter. There's not a whole lot that you could really swap around here. If you felt like it, you could swap 2 of these perpetual motion mods for the strong arm of the anomaly to get some extra resist pierce, which is going to directly buff how much anomaly power you get, so it's going to help you do a little bit more damage. Honestly, you don't really need the damage, and the cooldown reduction on these skills is very nice for general ad clear and stuff. But another thing you could do is swap one of them for Protected by the Anomaly if you want to be literally invincible. Not only are you going to get a ton of shield, but you're also going to get armor from this node, so you'll be pretty much entirely invincible with this build. Otherwise, everything is pretty much straightforward. You're just going to be getting some additional anomaly power, reduce the cooldowns of your seismic skills, get Paladin there. You get some extra armor and resistance by default, get some extra seismic skill damage, resist pierce, blah blah blah. It's pretty simple. We're mainly going up here to get 20% additional armor piercing. The reason for this is we're using an armor mod that's going to convert armor piercing into resist pierce, which then gives us more anomaly power, which is just going to buff the damage of our Earthquake. If you wanted to ditch this additional damage and just go pure survivability, there's a lot of options down here as well as in the middle that'll give you a bunch, but honestly, you do not need it. When it comes to the Pax Tree, this is pretty much the whole reason that this character is broken. Not only do you just get a whole bunch of extra anomaly damage, or skill damage rather, with Impact Point, free bleed application through Puncture, which is going to work with Seismic Commander very well with this build, and it's going to proc bleed whenever you use Earthquake, so you get to take advantage of that modifier for free. And then Earthen Shell, every time that you deal damage, it's going to convert all that damage into shield, so you're pretty much walking around with full shield all the time, which is why I keep saying the build is nearly invincible. Then we have Upheaval and Multi-Strike, which is basically just going to continuously stack up how much damage you're dealing with your Earthquake, enabling you on your 3rd Earthquake to, like you see in this clip, pretty much one-shot the boss. It's kind of insane, kind of bugged right now. I don't really want to go into super detail. It might end up getting patched, but even if it does, it'll probably still be really good. But if it gets patched, I'll just make a future video on Devastator. Otherwise, I mean, not really much to note. Upheaval and Multi-Strike. Getting into the build itself, you want to be using 3 pieces of Seismic Commander. This character's gear is pretty much perfect. I'm on my friend Dawson's account. If you guys didn't notice, this is not my account because I am spreading my time very, very thin already with the 3 characters that I'm making builds on, and he was generous enough to let me hop on this character. But regardless, you want to have 3 pieces of Seismic Commander because it's going to increase your damage towards enemies with bleed by 50%. And of course, we're applying bleed for free with Earthquake, so 50% extra damage all the time. Let's talk about weapons real quick, and then we'll talk about all the mods that you want. This build is so easy to set up. You barely need anything for it to work. You just need earthquake mods, and then you just get a whole bunch of damage amps, and you're good to go. So getting into the weapons, we're actually going to have 2 weapons here. Devastator takes heavy advantage of weapon swapping when it comes to dealing damage against one target. However, if you're running around mobbing, you can just keep one weapon out. The reason that we want to have 2 weapons is pretty much to proc multiple status effects, and then while those status effects are active, we're then going to use some mods that are going to increase our damage against enemies afflicted by those status effects. So for example, we have Virulent Compound for damage against enemies afflicted with Toxic, pair that with Euthanizer, and then we have Bullet Kindling for enemies afflicted with Burn, etc. Meaning we're going to not only deal pretty good damage with these mods, but also we're instantly going to be applying Toxic, Burn, so we get all that extra damage. The main reason we're doing this is there's literally just not that many other mods that are going to increase the damage of our Earthquake, and that is the main thing that we're trying to do here. So this enables us to just do a whole bunch of damage with our Earthquake. So we want one weapon that's going to have a lot of mod applications in the form of pretty much Fire and Toxic are your best friend. Freeze is an option, but on bosses it's going to fall off fairly quickly if you don't have high status power. And then you want to swap to a weapon that has Armor Pierce on it. Ideally, a Mythos is perfect with Mage's Rage and Fortress here, and then Omen is very good. And the main reason that the Mythos is good is because it rolls with Omen, so we get 10% extra damage whenever we proc it, and also the Armor Pierce is very good because with this mod here, where is it? No resistance against the fortified. Armor Pierce is increased, or our Resist Pierce is increased by 100% of our Armor Pierce. So we're getting 30% extra Resistance Piercing there, which is then going to turn into an additional 15% Anomaly Power. So that's really good on the weapon. And then Fortress is, of course, just 20% extra damage, and Mage's Rage is absolutely mandatory. If you don't have a Mythos, just use any weapon that has Armor Pierce on it, and just slap Mage's Rage on it. Everything else is just min-maxing. And when it comes to the main weapon, just make sure that you have some form of Toxic application and Fire application ideally, and the Fire could be swapped for Freeze, but like I mentioned, the uptime on Freeze could be a little bit difficult, but Freeze does have better mods of Bullet Kindling in the form of Shatter and Freezing Boost. Alternatives for applying Bleed or Toxic could be, Stigmatized. Firestorm is a good way to apply Bleed. Noxious Spawns is a good way to apply Toxic, or you could just get T3 of these mods. There's a lot of different ways to apply statuses, so not going to go over all of them. When it comes to the mods, these are pretty much the absolute best ones that you want, and you don't want to deviate too much, but we'll talk about which ones are mandatory. So Arms and Anomaly gives you a whole bunch of additional anomaly power, very good for the build. And this, when it comes to the gear, you want anomaly power on everything, and you want a 3-piece Seismic Commander. Any pieces of Seismic Commander that you can get good rolls on is probably going to be pretty good. Ideally, I think you want the helmet, chest, and then pants, because those are going to have anomaly power, but getting purple gloves and boots is really difficult, so not all that big of a deal if you don't have purple items and you have all legendaries like we have here. Sorry for the side tangent. Already mentioned no resistance against the fortified, very good for the extra anomaly power, and then Anomaly Echo again for just more anomaly power to boost our damage. And then we have on the chest piece extra Quake, so we can activate Earthquake another time, pretty simple. Then we have Earth's Legacy for Ad Clear, which is really good, just increases the range of Earthquake. Then we have Captain Hunter for pretty much extra damage against elites, pretty simple. On the pants, we have Tainted Blood, so 16% extra damage against enemies with Bleed, which is really good because we're always applying Bleed. And then we have Despair. Enemies within the damage radius of Gravity Leap will receive 2 times more anomaly damage for 5 seconds, so that's kind of insane. The more that I think about it, the more insane that this is, and this is a very good debuffing tool as well. And then Virulent Compound, which could instead be Radical Therapy if you had Radical Therapy instead of Virulent Compound on the pants. This is just for the Toxic. Another Toxic mod, we have Euthanizer, then Bloody Boost for more damage against enemies with Bleed, and then Ground Crush to just increase the damage of our Earthquake. Lastly, we have another Earthquake mod, just so we can use it a third time, and then Bullet Kindlings for the extra damage against enemies with fire on them, and then Unstoppable Force. The build is pretty simple. The only thing that you could really swap from this, I mean, the main thing is just get all the Earthquake mods. That's like really easy because the Seismic gear kind of just rolls with it on it. Just get the Earthquake mods. Then after that, probably focus on some of the anomaly power mods, and if you can't get like Anomaly Echo, you could get like Power Assimilation is a decent option. Get the additional Resistance Piercing and Unstoppable Force, and then just throw on statuses, whatever you have, whatever you're able to get on a weapon. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Having a weapon with Vulnerable on it actually wouldn't be that bad either, because that's 15% extra damage. if you happen to get, you know, a weapon that has a freeze and burn on it, for example, like this one here, you could just swap this out, apply freeze and burn, which I think you can do at the same time. Maybe don't quote me on that. Maybe replace freeze instead of burn. Haven't tried that exactly, but you could have freeze, burn, toxic, whatever to apply those statuses, and just take advantage of it with some mods. The gear is pretty simple. I'm going to throw up a priority list right here because, I don't know, it's kind of guesstimation. This is what I would focus on first, but it really isn't all that big of a deal. I guess it's my new thing now, but I'm just going to show you guys some gameplay of the build in the Catacombs so you know exactly how to use it. When it comes to ad clear, you can just ooga booga around. I don't even bother weapon swapping because everything will kind of just get one-tapped by Earthquake anyway, but if you want to be super optimal, weapon swapping is the thing to do. Just weapon swap to the weapon that has all the statuses on it. Walk up to the boss, blow it up. Pretty simple. For the normal ad clear, just smash your Earthquake button and everything will pretty much die. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, you can just spam your reflect bullets to just get that additional anomaly power. Shoot this gun. Make sure to land headshots. Actually, kind of forgot to mention that. Definitely make sure to land headshots to get the additional anomaly power from Mage's Rage and Arms and Anomaly. And otherwise, it is pretty simple. Thank you for removing my skills. I really much appreciate that. We're just going to leave that guy alone. We'll apply statuses on this guy because I feel like being a nerd. And boop. It's so dumb, dude. This character is kind of stupid. It's very, very simple. And it just boop, boop. Just blow everything up, man. Hey, look, I don't want you to do anything to me, so I'm just gonna put my reflect up. Oh, I'm close to dying, guys. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I think I might die here. Look at my shield, guys. It's kind of scary looking. Is that guy gonna die to the firestorm? Kind of scary looking. Wait, I can't even die if I try. Wait, everything just wait. I'm actually trolling right now, but what just happened, dude? Everything died around me, and I didn't even do anything. Let me just get my shield up. Oh, yep. All right, I'm having too much fun being a clown. I'm supposed to showcase the build being good. I'm just being stupid, but I mean, you guys know what's up, dude. It's Devastator, man. You just smash the Earthquake, ooga boog, press the Earthquake button. We don't need to go into too much detail about what's happening here. Just make sure to land the headshots. If you want to be a nerd and proc some status effects, or you could even use a mod that just has damage on it when it comes to ad clear. Just help your ad clear out with a bunch of like little dudes running around, but you don't really need it. And when it comes to the bossing, that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about. So I'm actually going to swap to Golem here because it'll just make it a little bit easier for me. So it's pretty simple, but the order of priorities basically proc your status effect stuff, swap to your other weapon, proc Mage's Rage or whatever's on it, and then use Golem for the AP, Gravity Leap, and then press Earthquake 3 times, and everything around you should pretty much die. So I should have my SMG equipped. I don't have the SMG. Shoot this guy a few times. Not a big deal. Proc Golem. Do that. Boom, boom, boom. And he dies. 273 mil at APOC tier 28. Very balanced character. Very, very good. I'm kind of curious how much upheaval did of that damage, but we'll take a look. Got some loot. Very, very cool. I gotta pad out the video. If you're still watching at this point, if you haven't dropped a like or subscribed, I mean, are you really a fan? That's a question you should ask yourself before you go to bed every single night. Alright, let's take a little peek-see at the overall damage here. Earthquake, yep. Yeah, upheaval isn't really there because we're not really cheesing it anymore, but it's still juicing the damage of Earthquake. So yeah, Earthquake broken. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't really have all that much else to say. This character looks ridiculous. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace. Here I just wanted to show that it's like literally impossible to die on this character. I'm just going to let this gameplay play. It's also APOC tier 38 and I ended up just killing him because I got bored, and I'm only 28 on this character. So yeah, not all that much to say. Devastator is just really, really stupid.